it's not just about economics anymore. It's about AI supremacy. Happy Sunday, Patriots. This is Kelly Jackson, and I am still not canceled. And today, what I wanted to talk about was President Trump's trip to China. It seems President Trump is back on American soil, and there were several issues that he and President Xi discussed while he was over in China. But one that was noticeable and yet is not really being heavily publicized is that of Taiwan. I brushed on this the other day, but I really wanted to dive into this issue of Taiwan today with greater granularity because I think it's really important. And I think that we need to discuss the winning strategy of President Trump in keeping Taiwan from being invaded by China and simultaneously keeping Taiwan out of the hands of the CCP and getting our chip manufacturers back in the good old United States of America, where we can then dominate the AI war. So let's talk about it right now on Still Not Canceled. So let me show you this really sort of primer. That's very, like, in a nutshell, this was what they talked about. Let me share that with you. It's a very interesting conversation.
Emperor Trump, welcome to Beijing. The robe suits you. Very powerful. Now about Taiwan.
Love the robes. Tremendous silk. The dragon on the chest. Very on brand. I might keep this. Anyway, no.
I didn't finish my...
You were going to say Taiwan. You always say Taiwan. Every call, every meeting, every dinner. Taiwan, Taiwan, Taiwan. You sound like a GPS that's stuck, G. Very repetitive.
Taiwan belongs to China. It has always belonged to China. I have maps, ancient maps.
I have aircraft carriers, modern ones. They float, they move, and they don't need a map. Very advanced technology. You should look into it.
What if I take just half of Taiwan?
What if I put tariffs on the other half of your economy?
You are wearing our robes and drinking our tea and still saying no?
I look better in your robes than you do. I'm drinking your tea, even though my people replaced it with Diet Coke, and I'm still in charge. Now, pour me another cup and let's talk about something else. Taiwan is off the menu permanently, like your social credit score, if you keep asking.
That is a great follow. This
Emperor Trump.
Welcome. Baby News Network. I would recommend it for sure. It is fantastic. It's so funny. That is a funny nutshell, essentially, of the conversation that was had by President Xi and Donald Trump, and why this is important. I want to share with you really quickly. Let me just read some of this really quickly. Taiwan on May 16th pressed the case for continued U.S. arms support and closer security cooperation after U.S. President Donald Trump said he had not yet decided whether to move forward with a major weapons package for the self-governing island, which Beijing claims as its territory has threatened to take by force. So back in December of 2025, the president made it known that he had put on the table for Taiwan a formidable arms package, so that should China decide that they want to invade Taiwan, that they would have a fight on their hands and that we would be essentially assisting Taiwan in taking that on. So that, like that little video said, Xi, his reasons for wanting Taiwan is consistently about geographical integrity. It belongs to China. It belongs to China. It belongs to China. Well, you know, he's conveniently forgetting that he wants Taiwan because he wants to control the chip manufacturing industry. Everybody knows that China wants Taiwan for several reasons, but the technological importance of Taiwan is the real modern leverage point. Trump understands something many politicians do not. Semiconductors are the oil of the AI age. So instead of simply reacting to China militarily, Trump appears to be changing the incentive structure himself. But let me read some more of this article. The comments from Taiwan's presidential office came after President Trump said aboard Air Force One that he and Chinese leader Xi Jinping discussed Taiwan extensively during their summit in Beijing, and that he would soon make a decision on the fate of a proposed multi-billion-dollar arms package for Taipei. Speaking to reporters while traveling to Alaska on May 15th, Trump said Taiwan was one of the main issues discussed during his talks with Xi, who warned that the issue could trigger confrontation between the two worlds, the world's two largest economies. On Taiwan, he does not want to see a fight for independence because that would be a very strong confrontation, Trump said, of Xi's position. Asked whether tensions over Taiwan could escalate to military conflict between the United States and China, Trump expressed confidence that war would be avoided. I think we'll be fine, he said. Let's just listen to something that the president said on Fox News. This was just the other day on Jesse Waters. And let me bring that up.
President Xi was very surprised at how well we've done with AI, because they thought, when it started, they took this gigantic lead. And we now we are substantially ahead of them in AI.
China may have the minerals, but they don't have the chips. But they do have an island off their coast full of them, Taiwan. Trump told Xi, don't even think about it.
I think they probably would do something pretty harsh, and then they would be met harshly, and bad things will happen. I'm not looking to have somebody go independent and, we're supposed to travel 9,500 miles to fight a war. I'm not looking for that. I want them to cool down. I want China to cool down.
But you're waiting on approving billions of dollars of weapons for Taiwan.
That's right.
Is that
I'm
moving forward?
Well, I haven't approved it yet. We're going to see what happens.
What are you looking for?
I may do it. I may not do it.
Yeah, what's your hinge point?
Well, I'm not going to say that, but I may do it. I may not do it. And it depends on China. It depends. It's a very good negotiating chip for us, frankly.
Trump's holding the chips here, not the Chinese. And he wants to go home with all of them.
I'll make a little news. I'd like to see everybody making chips over in Taiwan come into America, because to be honest with you, I think it's the greatest thing you can do, because it's a heated situation. There's no question about it. And as you know, we have massive amounts of chip companies now from Taiwan already coming in. We expect to have 40 to 50% of the world chip business by the end of my term.
Once chips are made in the United States, we don't need to go over to Taiwan and defend them. The president wants to compete with the Chinese without having to spill blood.
This summit, what will people be saying 10 years from now?
Well, I think it's a very historic summit. It's the two great countries. I call it the G2. This is the G2. They have G7. They had the G8. This is the G2. And I think it'll go down as a very important moment in history. And maybe more than anything else, a great moment of respect.
So there you go. I mean, I think nobody's really talking about this, and I wanted to do some analysis on it. So we're talking about, bringing the chip manufacturing back to America. First of all, that would be a huge financial and economic boon for our country. It would mean lots of new jobs for Americans. If America controls more semiconductor production, America becomes less vulnerable. Taiwan becomes less economically indispensable to China, and China loses that leverage. Trump is saying that he wants 40 to 50% of the world chip manufacturing in America. And if he is able to achieve that, that would be absolutely huge. That alone changes the global balance of power. Let me say that again. That alone changes the global balance of power, which is, it's all about that, isn't it? It's all about being the major player on the world stage. We have to dominate the other countries, because if we don't, if we come at it from the same posture as Barack Obama, or who went around the world bowing to other people, or Joe Biden, who didn't have enough going on upstairs to even be a threat to anyone, then we're going to not only be taken advantage of, other countries who rely on us to help defend them, because number one, it's the right thing to do. Number two, it enables us to keep doing what it is that we do with excellence. In a lot of cases, we have allies, and they rely on us to help protect them against some of the evils of the world. It doesn't mean that we should be the cops of the world forever, But we do have that situation currently. Offering China economic alternatives to war, because stable economic access is preferable to catastrophic war. There's just no way around that. Why invade Taiwan? Collapse the markets, trigger sanctions, potentially start World War III, if you can access critical technology through negotiated commerce, which would benefit everyone. And then it would take the heat off of Taiwan, wouldn't be such a hot target. If we brought the chip manufacturing back to the United States, we can defend ourselves. They aren't going to have to worry about defending themselves. They have a geographical disadvantage, obviously, to China. So if they don't have the thing anymore that China really wants, then they don't have to worry about being invaded and they can keep their sovereignty. And they may have to decide if keeping their chip manufacturing capabilities in Taiwan, which from what I understand, some of that was stolen from us. If they want to continue to keep that, then they're going to have to then continue to worry about whether or not China is going to invade them. And I don't think anybody wants that. So President Trump is sort of using a winning strategy of a carrot and a stick. So the carrot is, hey, bring all of that manufacturing back to the United States where we can defend it, where then you can utilize commerce channels to get the superconductor chips that you need for your economy and for the things that you do, because there's a big long list of things that China manufactures in their country and they need the chips. They can't keep going without what do they do? AI. The chips are the foundation of AI, military dominance, surveillance, finance, communications, cyber warfare, advanced manufacturing. I mean, they can't do a lot of the things that they do in China with regard to their manufacturing without the chips. It's all about the chips. Like they said, like I said earlier, chips are like the oil of the modern age. It's all about the chips. So this is really a winning strategy for the president. He is going to, the media keeps reducing a lot of this to tariffs and, trade numbers because they don't know how to explain technological power. He was doing, Brett Baer and Jesse Waters were doing a pretty good job, but this isn't merely, it's not just about economics anymore. It's about AI supremacy. It's about military supremacy. It's about technological sovereignty. Trump appears to understand that the next great global power struggle may revolve less around oil fields and more around semiconductor fabrication. So he's not merely negotiating trade. This isn't just like he mentioned the G2 or the G8. This isn't just about trade. This isn't just about global economics. This is about restructuring the strategic landscape itself. And that's what this is about. So underneath all of that diplomatic language, this is really about who controls the technological future of the world. And Trump appears to be trying to make sure that that future is not controlled by communist China. And for that, I am extremely grateful. I don't know about you, but I think our president is smart. I think our president is right. And I think he's got a great strategy that is going to just keep winning because, regardless of the criticism that he's received in the last year or so, and I understand people's frustration with, his seeming focus on other parts of the world. Why aren't we getting more attention? Why isn't he focusing on things like our economy? You've got to understand, not only did they undo everything he did in the first 4 years that he was president, but they went even further after they stole the 2020 election, which I think most of us can agree is a pretty prolific opinion amongst a lot of people, YouTube. So I'm not making a statement of fact. I'm stating that it's the opinion of a lot of people. After that, I think that we can safely say that he would have to then double down his efforts now in a lot of places in order to, there's just a lot of pieces of this puzzle that I just don't think we all know about. And I don't think we're necessarily going to know about, but with specificity to Taiwan, I think that this is a smart strategy. This does lead into the data centers that are going up all over the United States. I think in anticipation of bringing the chip manufacturing business back to the U.S. And quite frankly, there are state governments that are not handling that well, and they're utilizing eminent domain laws to take people's land. And that is at the state level, and it's a whole other conversation. We need to deal with that. But I think ultimately the overall strategy of bringing that business back to the United States, taking the target off of Taiwan, and bringing all that business back to the United States and making us independent, because that is what makes the world go round, our computer chips. If we don't have access to those, it's like during COVID. We learned the hard way that we don't have access to a lot of things because we don't make them here anymore. And our president is trying to bring that back to us so that we can be winning and winning and winning some more. So tell me in the comments what you think about this strategy with Taiwan, and also let me know if there are any other stories that you would like me to do an analysis of so we can have a conversation about it. My name is Kelly Jackson. Thank you so much for joining me today at Still Not Canceled, and we will continue to discuss all of the issues of the day, and you have a great day. See you next time.